Kim Wilson. I believe love wins. I've been married to my amazing husband for over 14 years. I'm very comfortable in my own skin. My parents did a wonderful job of loving me. I am the youngest of 3 siblings. I have 2 brothers and 1 sister. My favorite food are buffalo wings. If there's no blue cheese, go ahead and suspend that whole transaction. Honey, I gotta have the blue cheese. Professionally, I am a licensed professional counselor in private practice. I am also a podcaster and motivational speaker. Oh yes, we're all more than just one thing at any given time. I love inspiring the masses. It's my purpose. I use my education in human behavior to facilitate dynamic workshops and live events about building healthy relationships. I am the creator of I Need a Session, which is a YouTube show and ebook. My favorite word is amazing. It's better than average and okay. My motto is, why settle for okay when amazing is an option? Happy Thursday. Welcome to another episode of I Need a Session. I'm your host, Kim Wilson. Let me see who I have rocking and rolling with me today. Let me see if I can pull the comments down here, if I can see you all. All right. Okay. Let me know who's rocking and rolling with me today. Drop your hello in the chat. Well, today we are talking about first dates. If you all have not noticed by now, I love talking about relationships. There is nowhere we are going to go in this world where we don't find a relationship. Hello, my amazing Karen Rivers. Thank you for joining me. In the chat, she has MAKW, and that's our private language. And what that stands for is my amazing Kim Wilson. So amazing is my favorite word. The reason why amazing is my favorite word, because I usually use amazing to filter my experience through how I feel about something. My motto is, why settle for okay when amazing is an option? So if I go to a restaurant, I ask myself, wait a minute, why aren't I pleased? Well, that's because it wasn't amazing. Did I come here to pay for okay? No, I did not. I need somebody to come approach the table. I need to get amazing out here. Yeah, so if you haven't learned by now, I love talking about relationships because, like I said, there's nowhere we are going to go in this world where we don't bump into a relationship. Nobody gets anywhere by themselves, whether it's a personal relationship or a professional relationship. But tonight, we get very specific. We are talking about first dates. First dates can be exciting and stressful at the same time. It's like, ay. Hi, Tamika. Thank you for joining. Hello, my Carol Tucker Burden. You know, I got to say her whole name whenever I just love saying her whole name. All right. So let's get to it. It's like, well, what do I do? It's like my first date is coming up. So the first thing, here's your first tip. Okay? I recommend choosing an activity that encourages conversation, right? All right. Hi, LaWanda. Thank you for joining. Hello, my sister. So, there was a time back in the day, it was typical to do dinner and a movie. Well, the thing is, if you do a dinner first, you got to be quiet for like at least 2 hours. And then in that whole awkwardness thing can come. It's like, ooh, our shoulders were touching. Is that too much? I mean, so, there's the movies can certainly take up time, but there are so many ways to get creative now because it's not 1985 or anything like that. You have Topgolf. You have live events, where the music is down low enough where you can still have that eye-to-eye contact. I really enjoy having eye-to-eye contact with the person. And whenever we can engage in just casual conversation, we can just find out little nuggets of information, even look at gestures, and it can open up conversations to how a person feels about a certain area. Sometimes when people just become very conversational, you don't have to go into that interview style, feeling like you're asking 25 questions, because it's flowing and you're in an environment that's encouraging conversation, or even getting to see how the person interact with other people. So say, for instance, you go to a restaurant. If the person is kind to the server, thank you. If they're using basic manners, yes, please, and thank you. Or or even paying attention to if this person is dismissive. Say if the person got the order wrong and the person got very snippy or they became rude with the server. For me, when I see something like that, I'm going to have to pull in the language of the red flags. Yeah, that's going to be a red flag for me because for me, the reason why that's a red flag for me, because I do like even tempered people. I do like people who are able to manage conflict. And if I see something like that right in the beginning, I'm going to have some concerns about whether or not if this person is able to handle conflict or stressful situations. So that's why that matters for me. So you have to know what matters to you and what you like. And please, I encourage you all to drop your comments, ask questions. We can really get into it here. Okay? All right. Number 2, be present. Being present, what I mean by that is pay attention. And sometimes when we are checking our phones or answering the phone, looking around, we're not being present. We can actually miss something. There's nothing like when a person has your undivided attention. So if you're check text messages or like, oh, let me respond to this person, and you're grabbing this call, you're grabbing that call, that person, it certainly can send a message to that person that maybe you're too busy, they do not matter, you're not interested. You can send all kind of messages. But whenever we are present in the moment, it is a good practice to have, whether you are on a first date, a second date, or even if you are with a friend. So a lot of times now, when I go to a restaurant, I usually see a table where two people are having lunch or dinner and both of them are on their phones. I'm like, well, wait a minute. So y'all really just came here to eat the food. No, no, nobody came here to really engage in conversation. So just being present and being tuned in, that's going to make a huge difference. It seems like that should not have to be a point, but sometimes when people feel awkward, they feel like they don't know what to say. The phone has now become the old safety blanket, the security blanket. So people will use their phones as security blankets. So Tamika, you said even with your spouse of 20 years, be present. Absolutely. Absolutely. I know when I am at dinner, lunch with my husband, whether we are at home, there are no phones at the table. We're not talking on the phone at the table. I'm not texting people. I am locked into conversation. And even with if I'm having lunch with a family member or a friend, we are together. I want them to know they are important enough for me to stop and pause, and I enjoy feeling the same. All right. Moving on to point number 3. All right. Balance out your talking and your listening. Now, I do believe in asking a lot of questions. At the same time, I believe in listening because if you're talking all the time, you're not learning. So you want to be able to listen to the person and listen enough for that you can ask follow-up questions. Sometimes we're not listening, we're hearing the person, but we're not listening close enough where if the person says something very important that really warrants a follow-up question, well, tell me more about that. That shows that you are engaged in the conversation. So again, it takes some of the lift off feeling, it takes some of that away, like I have to carry this conversation, or feeling like you have to interview and drill down this person. So going in, if you are a person, if you're going into this first date because you're saying I'm looking for a committed relationship, there are going to be certain things that that person will say that will let you know whether or not you all are looking for the same thing. um so just to kind of go back, I want to go back to point number 1 for a second, when I said plan your activities around that encourage conversation. So when I first met my husband, our first date was, we were in college, so we went to an art exhibit on campus, and he asked me if I wanted to go out for ice cream. Now I was just really taken by that because Now, this is 1999, and people, back in the day when, my grandparents were telling stories, it's like, yeah, we went out for some ice cream. I'm like, oh, oh, fashion soul. He asking me out for ice cream? I'm like, oh, okay. Now I later learned, that was connected to, he was tight with the money a little bit. I learned later, but still. So the art exhibit didn't cost anything. It was campus art. and and the ice cream, we went to McDonald's for it, and then you get those sundaes. And then after we got the sundaes, we went to the lake. He was like, hey, you want to go to the lake to have this ice cream? I was like, oh my gosh, you want to have ice cream at the lake? And I thought, whoa, what a creative soul. Again, just kind of framing that up. We were much younger then, but I still appreciate it. I didn't feel like somebody was trying to get me off to the side, what we would call it, score. Okay, so moving on to point number 4. Where are we? Okay, so the other thing that we want to do is we don't want to move too fast too soon. And let me just go in there a little bit. Be mindful of giving too much too soon. Sometimes we can overshare. There's no need to tell your whole life story on the first date. That's giving too much too soon. What is it? How did this person earn that much trust? How did they earn that much trust that you want to tell your whole life story? You're trusting your information in the hands of this person. To me, that sits right next to your social security number. Are you giving that out? I mean, so be careful about giving too much too soon. And what's also packed away in giving too much too soon is excessive touching. Oh, now, let's be clear. Now, it depends. Now, some people have a first date. Some people are looking for the hookup. And some people are looking for a soul connection. So if you're looking for a hookup, well, there may be a lot of excessive touching. That's a whole nother thing. Remember the show we did on intentional dating with intention? It just depends on what the intention is. So, but if the intention is to get to know somebody, you certainly want to be mindful of giving too much too soon. The other thing that can be packed away in there is inviting people to our personal space. And sometimes what that looks like is, you want to come over? So wait a minute, you bringing somebody in your safe space? So wait a minute, if we count up all the hours that we've known this person, okay, so whether you met them online and you chatted for a minute, or you met them at the gas station, or you met this person, both of you all you went to the same PTA meeting or something like that. So when you think about how much talk time have I actually had with this person? Oh, okay. When I add it all up, I guess in the total time that I've known this person, we probably have talked about 8 hours. Okay. Now, 8 hours of worth of talking. And I know how it is. Sometimes, when you, in my mind, see, when you're 22, all that feels natural. And I get it. I'm 44 now. So I'm pushing this through a 44-year-old brain. Things that made sense to me at 22, I get it. Because when you're 22, it's almost like, that scene in Training Day where Denzel Washington, he's like, King Kong ain't got nothing on me. When you're 20, you like, that's different. But see, to me, after you start dating, when you start getting into your 30s and 40s, in my mind, I got more to lose now than I did at 22. At 22, I didn't have much of anything. I don't even know if I had $5.50 in my account. but now, it's like I got a little bit more to lose. So I certainly want to be mindful. About bringing people into my personal space. So that's packed into giving too much too soon. What do you all think about that? Giving too much too soon. And I do believe in going with the flow too. Let me just preface all of that with this. When just going back to dating with intention, just because if you decide to move at a very quick pace with somebody, make sure you manage those expectations, you know, and so it won't turn into a breakdown or feel like rejection, because the person may have been attracted to you, they had a great time, and after that there was nothing else that they wanted or needed. They got what they needed, and that was they wanted to have fun, they wanted a hookup. And sometimes when we are not clear on a person's intention, and it feels like we had a really great first date, we connected, we talked, and then all of a sudden we got crickets and the person didn't call anymore, that can really feel like a blow. Yeah. All right. So this very last one. All right. Here's this very last one. Be yourself. You know, I believe in showing up the best version of you. Be yourself, because it's harder to maintain or keep up being somebody else. And be comfortable. If you're not a person, if you don't wear heels every single day, you're not going to be completely comfortable. I do say dress for the occasion. If the person asked you out to, they have tickets to the opera or something like that, certainly you want to, you know, dress accordingly. So you see my shirt. I'm dressed for my date night tonight. I'm not, you said I got a little glamour here. I'm dressing for the occasion tonight. I could wear this on a date with my husband. It's comfortable. I don't feel overdressed or anything like that. So I do say, be you. All right. Listen, those are your 5 points. Let me just put them up. Let me go over them one more time. One, be present. One, plan activities that encourage conversation. Two, be present. Three, balance talking and listening. Four, be mindful of giving too much too soon. And five, be yourself. All right. You could have been anywhere in this world, but you chose to rock and roll with myself. If you are going on a first date and you don't feel as comfortable, hey, I got the perfect tool for you. I don't know if many of you know, don't forget, I do have a book, I Need a Session. At any given time, I believe this book is a powerful tool for anybody to reconnect to their confidence, their positive mindset, and love. You certainly can get it at www.kimwilsonspeaks.com. And if you are not on my email list, be sure to sign up. You can hit that contact button so you don't miss another notification. All right. So wait a minute. We have a comment here. It leaves nothing to the imagination of who you are. There is no more work for the other person. Yes, I think Tamika is connecting that to giving too much too soon. Guys, I thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will see you next Thursday at the same time, 9:30 p.m. If anybody has not told you today, let me be the first to tell you, you are amazing. Be well.